everyone. Today we're going to be making custom fuel tanks out of this PVC pipe for semi-trucks, kind of like the one behind me. This pipe is what you're going to need. It's a 1 1/8 outside diameter size, or that's about 29 millimeters for the metric people. Another thing you're going to need is a miter box and a saw to get a nice straight cut on the end. You're going to want some styrene, also some super glue, and that's about it. We're going to get to work. Alright, so what we're going to do first is figure out what the size of the fuel tank is we're going to make. So I actually did some research and found a website that sells truck fuel tanks. This one is for a Peterbilt and it's 67 inches long. So we're going to take our pipe, we're going to measure from the square end, a scale 67 inches. So I'm going to take a break, do all the math, do a little measuring, and I'll come back and you'll see how long they're going to be. Okay, so 67 inches in 24th scale is 7.1 centimeters. I've converted the inches into centimeters to make it a little more exact on a ruler. We've measured it all out. Next I'm going to take some tape and wrap it around just up to the edge of the black mark, and then we're going to go cut it in the miter box. Alright, we're going to go show cutting this, and then we'll come back to the bench and we'll make up some end caps. Okay, the miter box is all secured down, so it's ready to put the pipe into and start cutting. This ensures a nice square cut. Alright, so next what you're going to need is some styrene. I've got some very thin styrene here, but I've got some more thick stuff on the way. This will work for now, just to show. You're going to want to start with removing any tape that's left, and then give your edge a little sand to get rid of any sharp edges. I've got 220 sandpaper here. It's kind of coarse, but it does the job fairly quickly. Alright, once your sanding is all done, you can take your piece of pipe, set it on your styrene, and trace your circle around it for your end cap.
It doesn't have to be perfect, but I tried to mess it up with this.
Then, since this styrene is so thin, I can actually cut this out with scissors, but if it's thicker, you could use your X-Acto knife. I can get it without stabbing myself. X-Acto knife with a new blade that will cut it out fairly quick. I'll go ahead and cut this out with scissors, and then we'll get to the next part. Okay, once you've gotten rid of all the extra styrene around the edges, you're going to want to take some super glue, glue them on each end of the tank, and then let it dry for just a bit, and you can start sanding your edges. I've left a little ridge around the edge just in case, and it'll be easy to cut the rest off or sand it once it's glued on and set. There you have it. You've got ends. Once your ends are on, you can let the glue set, or if you have any accelerator, which I don't, you can just mist it around the edges and it should stay just enough for you to cut the excess off. So I've got an extra Italeri fuel tank from a Peterbilt 378, I believe, and one of the brackets that goes with it. You can tell that they are kind of the same size, but this tank would be like probably a 60 gallon, whereas this one is supposed to be, I believe, a 67 gallon. They're a little longer. This is a little shorter, obviously, and you can tell they're about the same, same diameter. So it should fit nicely with the truck. One is a bit taller than the other. These aftermarket ones that I'm making are a bit taller. But it'll give a lot nicer look as a one-piece tank without the seams in the center and these ugly ends. The tank brackets do fit this very well. I don't know if you can see it, but there's very little gap in there. So if you did a little trimming on, well, on the tips and the ends, you'd have the perfect fit. And you could also slice your styrene sheet into thin strips, and maybe I'll do that for this video. I'll make a couple strips and make tank straps. Alright, our glue is set up just enough, and we're going to take our new blade and we're going to go around the edges and cut this off. Up next, if you want, you can take your sandpaper and do the edges again to get the sharpness off. Now, I'll go ahead and put the putty in here in this tiny crack. You can't see it, but it's there. You can catch your blade on it. So, just enough putty to hide the crack, and then we'll sand it off, and we'll throw this into some primer, and it'll be ready to use on a truck. I'm going to go ahead and make another one, and we'll use the set of tanks that are made in an upcoming video. We're going to do a Peterbilt 377 from Italeri with the Peerless Roadrunner log trailer from AMT. So keep an eye out for that series coming up. Alright, the putty is all on. We're going to leave this for a while to dry, and I'm not going to finish this on video, but you can sand this with some 220, 320, and maybe then some 400, just so you can get rid of the sand scratches. And I like to use a high build primer, so I'll end up sanding probably the whole thing. I'll get rid of these letters, the numbers and stuff on the side, smooth it all out, and hit it with a coat or two of some Evercoat high build primer. After the primer, it'll be ready to paint, or you can use some chrome tape or foil, bare metal foil on it, anything really. And there you go. That's how you make your custom fuel tanks. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned for the next one.